it's Elana and welcome back to Chapter 7 of the Everyday Math Matters book. Today, the chapter is called Paying Bills. Now, learning how to pay bills can help you with money management, financial independence, and consequences like late fees if you don't pay them on time, which is why this is one of my favorite chapters because it's most important in your life. You're going to be using all of these skills no matter what you do in your future. So it's great to learn how to do them now so you'll be fully prepared in your future. So let's read the caption. You may not realize it, but your family has a lot of bills to pay. They probably have electric, heat, cable, internet, rent, car insurance, and other bills. It's helpful for you to have an understanding of what kind of bills your family may have to pay and how they can best manage their expenses. Let's take a look at this story. So you can open to page 59 so we can read the story together. So it says, the Johnson family and their 3 kids lived in a town called Wonderville. They loved their life in that town. They had a lot of friends and lived on a beautiful tree-lined street. The public schools in Wonderville were excellent. However, the Johnson family had so many bills to pay each month as their kids grew older. It felt like their bills kept piling up. Miss Johnson worked as a nurse at their local hospital, and Mr. Johnson worked as a social studies teacher. Miss Johnson earned a salary of $4,000 per month after taxes, and Mr. Johnson earned $3,000 per month after taxes. Together, their combined after-tax income was $7,000 per month. Despite their earnings, their bills still grew rapidly. Each month, they needed to pay their mortgage bill of $1,200, their electricity bill of $150, their cable and internet bill of $120, and their insurance bill of $500, and their grocery bill of $600. This didn't include other miscellaneous expenses like clothing, entertainment, and travel. At the end of each month, Mr. and Miss Johnson would sit down at their kitchen table and review their expenses. They would make a chart of necessary expenses and discretionary or optional expenses, like going to the movies or eating at a restaurant for dinner. They tried to be very organized with their spending so their family could enjoy a comfortable life while still managing their budget. The Johnson family was so happy living in Wonderville and they never wanted to leave. However, they knew that they needed to consistently manage their expenses and spending in order to live well in that town. So now there are also some important vocabulary words you should learn related to paying bills. So let's take a look at some of them. And again, like the directions say, you can match them and then go back to the story if you don't understand some words. Because just looking at them, some can be more tricky than the previous chapters, but we can use the context clues from the story to help us. So the words I'll be doing today are, I could do grocery bill and electricity bill, for example. So first for electricity bill, if we don't know what that is, we can go here. Their electricity bill of $150. So they had to pay this bill. I'm using context clues, their electricity bill. Well, I know that something like lights are electricity. So they probably have to pay $150 to use their lights or other stuff that require electricity in their home. So they had to pay this much money. So using that context, I can now match it to the right definition. So do I think it's a contract with an insurance company to protect against losses? Don't think so. It's not a contract, it's a bill. A regular payment received for work done? I don't think so. It's not a payment, it's a bill. An invoice that shows how much money someone owes for electricity. Well, we see the word electricity here, and we see the word electricity here. Now let's just double check it. An invoice that shows how much someone owes for electricity. I think that's the right answer because it goes their electricity bill of $150. So it was an invoice that shows that they owe $150 for their electricity that they used. So that's the correct match, so you can drag electricity bill to this. And then for grocery bill. Now, off the top of your head, you might just already know. Grocery bill is just the money you owe for groceries. When you go to the supermarket, you pay a grocery bill. So let's say you pay $100 in groceries, your grocery bill is $100. So if we go to some of the options, I see right here, total amount of money spent on groceries. Well, we can infer that that's the right answer because first of all, they both say groceries or grocery, but we can also infer that it's the total amount of money you spent on groceries. That's the real meaning because when you go to the supermarket, let's say you go to the supermarket 4 times in a month and you spend $600 in total, that's your grocery bill. Your grocery bill is $600 because you spent that much money on groceries. So now you can match grocery bill to this one and then also pause the video and drag the other meanings and check them. And then unpause it when you're done with that. So now the directions in this activity say to write your own sentences with the vocabulary words below. So these are the same vocabulary words here, you're just creating sentences using these words. So again, like I do in every video, I'm just going to be using the words that I did for the vocabulary because we understand the meaning of them well, so we can easily create a sentence. So the words I did were electricity bill and grocery bill. So for electricity bill, make sure for every sentence to make it the strongest it can be, include the person, a who. So we could say my family for who, because my family is people. We could say my family paid an electricity bill of $100. My family paid an electricity bill of $100. It says who, it says what they did, it says like what they did for the bill, how much it was, etc. So it really just strengthens and details the sentence. Makes it specific, and it still uses this word easily so we can understand it. And then grocery bill. We could say, for example, a creative sentence could be, at the end of the month, comma, our grocery bill came to $200. At the end of the month, our grocery bill came to $200. For who, it's our. What is our? Like, what's the what? The grocery bill came to how much? $200. And it says when? At the end of the month. This is a great sentence that's super detailed and specific. Now for exercise 3, you're going to be reading the list below, which details that the family needs to pay, and then you're going to be answering the questions based on this chart. So they're pretty straightforward. They do involve some math skills, but I'm sure you'll be able to do them by yourself and be able to get them correct. Feel free to pause the video now to do the activity. And then for exercise 4, basically what they want is that there's 9 different families, and they all have different phone bills and different bills with taxes and different prices for all of them. And so what you're going to be doing is just adding. You're going to be adding the total. So for example, here we see that this is how much the base plan is per month. This is how much the long distance is per month, and the tax. So you'll add that up, and that'll be your total. So you'll do that for all of them. And pause the video right now if you want to do the activity. Then exercise 5 is the word problems, which I always do in the previous videos. And also what I do is I always change the numbers, not the entire story, just the numbers, so that you can figure out how to do this on your own. Because I'm going to be showing you the steps so that you can get it correct and do it independently. So if we pay attention to the left side, number 1 says, Sophie's heating bill was $100.39 in January and $86.48 in February. How much in total did she pay for heat for January and February? So I already showed the total because I want to show you guys the steps to get it. So how did I get this answer? Well, basically all I had to do was just add $100.39 plus $86.48. And again, make sure to line up the decimals so that every number is in the right spot, because if this was in the 100 spots, it would be a different value. So all I did was add 9 plus 8 is 17. 1 plus 3 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8. Then bring the decimal down. 0 plus 6 is 6. 0 plus 8 is 8. and then 1 plus nothing is just 1. So $186.87, which is what I put. So you can write this answer and the steps on a blank piece of paper or another space where you can write it so that you understand how to do it for number 1 here. Now for number 2. Liam paid $59.34 for television streaming services in March and $32.56 for streaming services in April. How much more money did he pay for streaming services in March than April? So we can obviously see these are the two prices that he paid in 2 different months. And we can also see that March he paid a lot more money than here. It's asking how much more money did he pay here than here. So how much more did he pay? How much more is this number compared to this number? So we're going to subtract the bigger number from the smaller number to find out the difference, which is how much more he paid. So basically an extra amount that got him to this number. So this plus the other extra number will get him to this. So that's going to be the difference. So therefore we're going to subtract $59.34 minus $32.56. So subtract 4 minus 6. We can't do that, so we can turn the 3 into a 2 and turn the 4 into a 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. 2 minus 5, we can't do that, so we'll turn the 9 into an 8 and turn the 2 into a 12. So now 12 minus 5 is 7. Bring the decimal down. 8 minus 2 is 6. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So he paid this much more. So Liam paid $26.78 more and 78 cents more for streaming services in March than April. And I know this because if I add this number to the price that he paid in April, it will get me to the price he paid in March. Now number 3. Lamar has a monthly phone bill for $76.30, an electric bill for $100, and an internet bill for $30.99. How much in total does he pay each month for these bills? So simply we're going to add all these to find out how much he pays in total, because that's addition. We can recognize in total is automatically addition, so we're going to be adding the prices. $76.30 plus $100. See the 0, you see how the decimals aren't lined up? So what we do is add a 0 before. You don't have to add the 0 before, but I like to line them up so that it's not confusing. Now, we wouldn't see this, something like this, in the store, but just when you're adding, you don't want to go like this because it will make it confusing. But if you go like that, you might not realize. So I just like to do 0, so it's obvious. And then he pays $30.99. So I'm going to put the 0 again here. You don't have to, but it just makes me not confused. I don't want to accidentally add a number that's not where it should be. So add vertically, 0 plus 9 is 9. 3 plus 0 is 3, and then 3 plus 9 is 12. So put the 2 down here, bring the 1 up here. Then bring all these decimals down. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus 0 is just 7. 7 plus 0 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So put the 0 here, bring the 1 up here. And then these zeros cancel out. So 1 plus 1 is just 2. So Lamar pays $207.29 in total for these bills. Number 4. The Welch family pays $354.34 in bills each month, and the Elder family pays $569.75 in bills each month. How much more does the Elder family pay each month in bills than the Welch family? Well, we can see that the Elder family obviously pays more money than the Welch family because this number is way less than this number. But it's asking how much more is this number compared to this number? So again, like we did previously, we're going to compare the prices by subtracting to find the difference because that will tell us how much more the the elder family pays. So $569.75 minus $354.34. That will get us the difference, and that will get us the right answer. So 5 minus 4 is 1. 7 minus 3 is 4. Bring down the dots or the decimals. 9 minus 4 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So the elder family pays $215.41 more each month than the Welch family. And I know this because you can check it, because if you add this number and this number, you'll get this number. So we know that this is the correct answer, because this is how much more the elder family pays. And lastly, number 5. If Martin earns $3,000 after taxes each month, and his bills in total come out to $1,029.39 each month, how much extra money does he have each month after paying his bills? So basically, in simple terms, this is how much he makes, but this is how much he owes. So it's asking how much extra money, after he pays this off, how much will he have left, basically what it's asking. So all we have to do is just subtract this number from this number to figure out the leftover money, which is also the extra money. So we simply just do $3,000. You can also put the comma. And I'll put 0 cents because I see that there's cents here, so we need to have the cents somewhere. And if you have nothing, it might be confusing. So I put zeros because it doesn't change the value. Minus $1,029.39. So I'll just subtract. 0 minus 9, we can't do that. We have to go here. We can't do that either. And I see all of these are zeros. So I automatically turn this 3 into a 2 and make all of these zeros a 9 and make this one a 10. So 9 for this one, 9 for this one, 9, 9, and 10. And now we can see that we can do this. So 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 3 is 6. Bring the decimal down. 9 minus 9 is just 0. 9 minus 2 is 7. 9 minus 0 is 9. And 2 minus 1 is 1. And I see here that this is in the thousands, so I'm going to put a comma. So we can see Martin has $1,970.61 extra after he paid his bills, or after he pays his bills. So he'll have this much money after he pays this much, because this is how much he makes. So if we subtract this from this, it will get us this. Now I hope by the end of this, you figure out how to pay your bills right and learn a lot of information about addition, subtraction, and a lot of future skills that you need that will help you. Thank you.